Hello, I'm Bernice Ramsden-Firth, and I'm called by me by most of my friends, and I'm here to read a chapter of my book, The Night Visitors. There are 4 books in the series, and they're about twins, Lynn and Lyle, who have had this adventure and meet all kinds of really interesting people. So I can read you this first chapter. It's just short, but I hope you like it. Chapter 1. The iron tongue of midnight hath told 12. To bed, 'tis almost very time. Now that is a quote from the Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. Buzz, thump. Lynn woke up with a start. Drawn so quickly out of a dark and perilous dream, for a moment she had no idea where she was. The noise, as if a very large insect had become trapped and was trying to get out, made her heart race. An early November moon, casting its silvery glow onto her narrow bed, lit her face as she turned, now fully awake and a little frightened, toward the window. Nothing there. With fragments of her dream and a strange, unsettling poem circling her inside her head, she lay for a while, listening, her eyes searching the room in the moon's dim light. She looked over at her twin brother Lyle to see if he was awake, but he slept on, thumb planted firmly in his mouth. Turning her eyes toward the water-stained ceiling, she tried to pinpoint the sound. As she listened, she had the oddest feeling that somehow their lives were about to change. Buzz, bump, thump, thump, buzz. Lyle, wake up, Lynn whispered. What's that funny noise? Lyle shifted around in his bed, then lay flat, and squinted through the window at the moon. I don't hear nothing, he grunted. Shh, probably just a fly. Lyle yawned noisily, and blowing a strand of hair out of his eyes, squeezed them shut. Don't make so much noise, be quiet. Lynn was sure the sound was much too loud for a fly. Lyle tried to lie still and listen. He was about to turn over, thumb back and mouth, when the buzzing started again, banging against the window and circling madly above their heads. A feather light wash of air carrying the slightest smell of honey found his face. Climbing out of bed, Lynn pulled the string dangling from the room's single spare bowl. The room lit up. She pointed at the ceiling. There it is, see? What appeared to be an oversized green dragonfly dipped and zoomed in and out of the light. Standing on his bed and deftly snatching the fragile creature out of midair, Lyle held it between his fingers, turning it over for a better look. His eyes nearly popped out of his head. Holy moly, it's a little person. Let me see, Lyle, let me see. Jumping quickly onto her brother's bed, Lynn docked him noisily to the floor. The little being flew out of his hand and up to the ceiling again, this time gripping the tattered ceiling paper with long fingers. What's going on up there? Are you 2 out of bed? You know what I told you before, and I mean it. The loud, grating voice of their foster parent, Mrs. Philomena Bagg, bellowed from the bottom of the stairs, giving the children more than the usual goosebumps. Lynn switched off the light, and they both listened for her step, but she stayed below, muttering curses at all children, especially those 2 rats. Look what you made me do, Lyle whispered, switching the light back on. Now I can't reach it. Is it really a little person? Did you see its face? Yes, I saw its face. He made a face at her, then turned his attention to the creature hanging above his head. Now how are we going to get it down? Lynn thought for a moment, then tiptoed to her dresser. Taking a piece of string and some sticky tape from a drawer, she covered the end of the string with the tape. Sticky side out, she gave it to her brother, who was much better than she was at throwing things. He flung the taped string several times with a shivering little finger and finally managed to stick the tape to a wing. He gently reeled it in, fluttering and squeaking toward him. Linda now saw, to her great surprise, a tiny, delicate, human-like form with filigreed dragonfly wings. Large, dark, frightened eyes stared up at them. But in an instant, the little creature swooped away. Lyle again pulled it in, and cupping his hands, held it firmly between them. It bit his finger. Ouch! Footsteps clattered up the stairs. Lynn swiftly shut off the light, and the twins dove into their beds. covering the wee mannequin with his blanket. Lyle could hear a humming sound. Lifting the blanket slightly, he whispered, "Shh," then quickly dropped it again. The door burst open, and a large, perhaps once attractive, red-faced woman stomped into the room, henna red hair hanging from hairpins stuck in every which way. Switch in hand, watching for any slight movement, she scowled into the darkness. But the twins had become well versed in keeping quiet around this harsh lady.